Hello and welcome to Guns and Yellow Ribbons Live. This is the match preview show, normally one that Johnny would normally host on the audio version, but unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, we've had to do this one, and it's a video one as well. On this one, again, Johnny couldn't make it because of the timing, because he's with his kids, but I am joined by Potsy and Scunny, so I'm going to bring the boys in. How are you, boys?
Very well, thank you, mate. I'm looking forward to this. As you can see behind me, I've done some collage behind me to make it a little bit more pro. So instead of just hanging some shirts up, like you do, Fergus. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I'm all good though, mate. I'm all good.
Scotty, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. And as you can see behind me, there's Naffle.
I like Magnolia. Magnolia's beautiful.
That's not Magnolia, it's grey.
Okay, well,
You need some glasses. How's that Magnolia?
I've got them here. I've got them here. Whatever.
Get them on.
Yeah. Listen, we're looking ahead to the Man United game. It's one of the dates in the diary I always look at, the Man United game. My brothers are both Man United fans, and it's one for years and years and years. That and the Tottenham game I look ahead to. We're up to Old Trafford in. I think it's 27 in the last 27 games we've gone to Manchester United at Old Trafford. We've only beaten them. We've only won 3 times. So, what's your thoughts on the game? Potty, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I'm not feeling as positive as some. I think a lot of people are kind of quietly confident due to some of the players that are out and just the way that Man United are playing. But I've seen this so many times, and I was speaking to Manny earlier and we were talking about how Wayne Rooney as a youngster has haunted us. Marcus Rashford did it as a youngster a few seasons ago under Van Gaal. And with those players out, it looks like it's kind of written in the stars for Mason Greenwood to come and cause us some issues. So I'm not feeling 100% confident. The only reason that I'm not feeling confident from Arsenal's point of view is I feel like we're going to go with a diamond. And I just don't know that is going to be working. I didn't mind it at Liverpool. I personally didn't. The first half, I thought we were actually okay. But I agree with what Heath just said there. I think a very open game is certainly something that's going to be happening because of the lack of defensive knowledge from both sides, really. They still have got some players to cause us problems. I look at people like Dan James. I look at players
he's quite good, actually, James.
Yeah, very good player, and he's going to cause us some issues. I think we're all looking at who's going to start. I personally am not as positive as some in terms of the players coming back. I think they'll be benched. I don't think Holding will start. I don't think Tierney will start. And certainly Bellerin won't because he played for the under-23s last night. So I think we are going to go with that same back four that started against Villa. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm not as positive as others, unfortunately.
Mike, I expect you're a bit more positive than miserable Dan. No? Well, you're on your way up there tomorrow, aren't you?
I am. I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to go to Borchester United.
So, who are you meeting up with?
Just a normal few. Jamie, Neil, and I think there's a few others as well going. So I'm not too sure if we're meeting anyone while we're there. I couldn't tell you. But I'm sure we'll meet someone while we're there. But I'm pretty similar to Dan in that respect. I just feel like it's Manchester United, and it's there's always something along the lines of somebody will cause us issues, whether it be one of the youngsters or one of the someone like Pogba or someone like that, possibly. I don't know. There's talks of Martial being back. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, because one report said he's coming back, another report said he's not risking him for this game. But similar to what Dan said as well, I'm not really too confident, especially with the recent news on our new captain. I'm also thinking the same lines of the diamond formation as well.
The captain's not for today.
No, that's what I'm saying. I just thought I'd put it out there. I'm not too pleased about it. Obviously, that's just my own opinion.
Listen guys, I can hear that you aren't as well. I'm not actually confident. Confident would be the wrong word, but we are facing a Man United that has no real strikers. They've got no real firepower up front. And it's the first time in a long time that I think we can go to Old Trafford and think of ourselves as, yeah, we can take them. If you look at last year, we ended up coming away with a 2-2 draw, and we felt like we were robbed. They've got James, which you mentioned already, Dan, and that's about it up front. Pogba may play, and Martial, but they may play. They'll be risked whether they're fit or not, and that's on the basis that this is the biggest game they've had this season. On our prediction things, I predicted a 3-2 win to the Arsenal, on the basis that our defence is awful and we will concede 2 goals against an awful Manchester United.
It's like Heath said in his comment about it's going to be an open game. It will be an open game, but I just feel like sometimes when we go to away games, not the fans, it's more the players, are very negative. It comes across as quite a negative play. So that's why I'm not overly confident. I think it's there for the win, definitely, especially with the amount of players they've got out, and what I mean. We've got a hell of a strike force still, so it is definitely anyone's game to win.
Well, I don't look like the only one who's not uncomfortable with a win. Jay Campion has come up and said to us that it's a comfortable win tomorrow. Who do you think, Ben? You mentioned a diamond, Potsy. Who do you see as our lineup? Name our back four.
Back form, I think, will probably be the same that played against Villa. My only question mark is if Maitland-Niles is fit or not. If he's not fit, I think Chambers will play. I still think he'll play Luiz and Socrates together, and I still think he'll play Kolasinac. I don't think Tierney will start. I think Leno will be in goal, and he'll be a diamond, and he'll go with Pepe and Aubameyang up front.
I agree.
And he will expose us on the wing again, like he did against Liverpool.
Yeah, this is what my problem is. This is what I'm saying. I know a player that I don't really rate, nobody does, but always works hard and always does score against us is Jesse Lingard. That was the reason that they beat us at the Emirates last season, and the reason that we couldn't beat them last season at Old Trafford because they drew 2-2. He scored in both those games. Nobody rates him, but all of a sudden these players turn up against Arsenal. We had it a few seasons ago, Darren Fletcher and Park Ji-sung. Always used to play the big games and they always turn up against Arsenal. And that's what it is yesterday. Listen, I don't think we're going to lose. I've actually predicted 2-2, but I still don't think we'll take 3 points. The last time we won over there, Fergus, was 2007 with Adebayor scoring. That's how long ago it was.
And this will be the first time since 2006, 2007 that we win consecutive matches, because we won up there in the league, the FA Cup, didn't we? Danny Welbeck scored.
Yeah, that's right.
The last time we're up there. So you mentioned the captain, and do you think
he's not my captain?
He's not my captain. Do you think Granit Xhaka will be leading the team out then?
Of course,
he'll be leading the team out.
Okay,
and he'll be anchoring the midfield as well. Unfortunately, he'll be anchoring that diamond. This is the thing I can't understand.
I thought I was going to check your language there for a second. I didn't know what you said.
No, I said anchoring, anchor. A with an A.
Yeah, with an A. Like a collection of bankers or a bunch of bankers, aren't they? So, we've conceded. In twice. Oh, forget that one. I've got these notes here, and they don't make any sense whatsoever. Very close, very close. We did, as I said, we did have technical difficulties on our last one. So it's 8 p.m. Monday Night Football. I like the Monday Night Football. I think the coverage on Sky is normally generally quite good. You got Neville and not overly keen on Carragher, but where are you going to watch? Where are you going to be
subtitles, don't we?
Where are you going to be watching it, Fotsy? Because we know where.
Yeah, Scunny's going up there. Lucky you get.
I'm listening to the pundits.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. I'm going to be watching it at home. I'm supposed to be watching it with my dad, but he's actually going out with my mum somewhere, and he's going to have to watch it on record. So he's going to watch it about an hour later. I'm going to be at home listening to Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, and Roy Keane, who I believe is on there tomorrow night as well. So I actually quite like Roy Keane. Funny enough, as a pundit, didn't like him as a player or a manager, but had a bit of respect for him as a player, mind you. But as a pundit, he's just black and white. He's brutal, isn't he? He just says it how it is. And unfortunately, when Arsenal are playing against him, it won't be very fun. But it is quite funny when he's on against other teams. But yeah, it will be at home, mate, and trying to be as positive as I can be.
And like I remember this game. Me and my brothers were out on Wednesday night, and we were watching Liverpool on the in the Carabao Cup, and I just remember this game as just being one of those games back in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, late 90s. It's just been the game that the world stopped.
Well, it's Keane and Vieira, wasn't it? You know, they made that game for so many years, for probably that decade between the 90s and 2000s. For me, it was all about Keane and Vieira. And normally whoever played better or whoever got in the other's head would normally come away with the 3 points. And it was so focused on them. And players now are just a bit too nice to each other, really. You know, we haven't got the captains or leaders that we did out there. You know, we've just mentioned our captain, Granit Xhaka. Their captain's Ashley Young. Just see them two going head to head? Not really. They're not in the same league either, in the same category. So for me, when Vieira and Keane had both gone, it kind of just demoted this fixture a little. However, the fans won't see it that way. And it will be massive, massive game tomorrow night for both clubs.
Mike, what's your favourite game that you remember as the Old Trafford clash? Sorry.
My all-time favourite was when Viltord scored for the Premiership win. I think that was the best one I've ever seen.
2004.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best ones because we got to sing the song, didn't we? After that.
We should point out as well that, like yourself, going to Old Trafford, Joanne says she hates Monday Night Football. She'll be travelling from somewhere in Surrey, and she won't get back till 2:30. And Monday
That's
night,
a late one, that.
Well, it just proves that the football is all about. Well, the football that we see on TV is all about a TV audience rather than the real fans. They don't really give a monkeys about us one way or the other.
Well played to Joe.
Mate. All about the dollars.
Well played to Joe though for travelling out there and supporting the boys and coming back at that time. Well played, Joe.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I won't be too far off that, to be fair. I'm a couple of hours away, so.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm at one side of the 62. They're at the other side of the 62. So.
Okay. For me, my favourite Old Trafford one has got to be the Battle of Old Trafford, the one with Keown and Horseface.
Yes.
But I also have really, really fond memories of the 3-1. When my brothers were around my house when we lived near Highbury, and when Arsenal played at Highbury, I could go out in my back garden and I could hear the crowd roaring and stuff. I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to get many tickets to Highbury at that time, but it was when Barthez and he's pulling up his shorts around him like that, and it was just like I'm standing in the back of the garden going, can you hear him? My dad was there, who was a Liverpool fan, and my two brothers, and I was just jumping around the place. So it's just such fun memories. Do
you remember the 97-98 one? That was a great one. 97-98, the David Platt header 3-2. That was fantastic. I thought that was superb. I think Vieira scored and broke his foot from hitting the ball so hard. I think that was a 2 to go 2-1 up. Absolute quality. We've had some great games against Man United. We really have. Absolutely sensational.
Raul Barraza, excuse my pronunciation. I normally ruin everybody's name. Talks about,
including mine, and mine's quite easy.
It talks about when Wenger was in the stands. And to me, that should be the statue outside of the Emirates. When I believe there's a statue being commissioned, but
is it not going to be a statue of him doing his zip up on his coat?
I was just about to say the same. Is it going to be that or his zip up? Or throwing the bottle on the floor?
No. For me, it's got to be that one. I think it was just an amazing day. So, what else do we want to go through? We have. Raul said, "I got it right, brother." So, yeah, thank you, Raul. Cheers for that. What else have we got? And he also agrees that should be the statue. So,
well, it's the most obvious one.
It is. So you've done the back four, Mike. Who do you see in the midfield? Are we looking at? We talked about Xhaka. Is he going to be in the midfield?
Well, if we're going to go for the diamond formation, then yeah, Xhaka will be at defensive mid, and then you'll have Guendouzi on the left. Guendouzi on the right, Ceballos on the left, and I reckon we'll probably see Özil back in the squad.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's just one of them games. It's just going to be one of them games. This is why I'm not looking forward to it in some respect. But I honestly do think Özil's going to be back in the squad.
Wow.
Jesus.
I hate to say it, but I can just see it.
You've just
And
kicked me in my
I
stomach.
hope to God I am wrong, because I've just got this horrible feeling right down in the pit of my stomach when I said that. It wasn't nice.
Yeah,
It was
I
like,
don't want that.
I've
I
just
really don't want that.
no, I don't either. But I can. It's this one thing I can see more than anything else. But if we're going to go for the three in the midfield, then it'll be Ceballos, Xhaka, and Guendouzi.
Yeah, agreed. I think the diamond will probably have Torreira in it instead of Ozil for me. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm hoping we don't play a diamond. I'm hoping we play Guendouzi and Guendouzi and Torreira and Ceballos. And then we have Saka, Pepe, and Aubameyang. That's what I hope our team is. Obviously with Holding and Tierney at the back instead. But I just think that's hopeful. I think that is wishful thinking.
It's very, very, very wishful thinking. I do honestly believe that. I just don't think it's going to be a game that Saka's going to get involved in unless he comes on in the later stages. Maybe switch around a bit. Maybe do a 4-3-3. Take possibly, like I say, take Özil off and put Saka on to make it a 4-3-3. But it's horrible to say.
You mentioned Saka, so if Saka doesn't get a look in, does Martinelli get a look in?
Possibly in the later stages. Again, if we're doing really well, for instance, if we go 2-0 up or 3-0 up or something, or 3-1 up or something, in then same sort of scores, that we go 2 goals up, I can see Martinelli getting on. Yeah, for Aubameyang, I can see him resting Aubameyang at some point. But unless we don't get if we don't get that 2-goal cushion, then no, I don't think he'll come on.
Okay, and Lacazette's not going to get a look in, is he? He's not fit.
No,
he's not. He's still out into
So who are you putting up top? You're putting Aubameyang, Pepe,
and Pepe. Yeah, that's it. Them two.
So you're going 4-4-2?
Well, diamonds, yeah.
Yeah, 4-4-2 diamond into
Yeah. Okay, and who do you see United? Obviously, they have De Gea in goal. Their defense is shot to pieces. They have as poor of a defense as ours. Listen, I'm saying all this off the off the cuff sort of thing. I'm not trying to jinx or ruin anything. So we do have to talk about this openly. We're not trying to call on the universe and stuff like that. But who
bring it down towards universe? Bring it down.
Yeah. Who do we see them having in defence then?
Well, it'll be Van Saka at right back, won't it? And then left back will be Ashley Young because Shaw's out, and they've got Lindelof and Maguire, haven't they? I think that's their back four.
80 million, and see what he performed like last week.
Well, I was in the pub with you, Fergus, when he let that guy skim past him at West Ham. Was it Yarmolenko?
Yeah, and that's what my brother, who's a Man United
and Edward, fan. Both of them going 80 million. What?
Yeah. Well, Edward had a lot more to say as well, but
he's had a few more beers.
What's that? Sorry, Mike.
Leicester saw them coming.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
From miles away.
He's a decent
I was doing
player.
this like, ooh.
He's a decent player with the England tax. So, do you see them matching up on a diamond as well, or do you see them doing a 4-3-3, or what do you see? Who wants to go with their formation?
Say possibly. I haven't really looked up on what they've done recently, but is it a 4-2-3-1 possibly?
Yeah, I think that's what it will be. Yeah. I think they'll play McTominay and Matic with Pogba in front because Pogba's going to play. And then I think they'll have Dan James and potentially Mata. And then up front, I think they'll have the young lad Greenwood, is it? Mason Greenwood?
Yeah.
Mason Greenwood is their only option, really.
That's if Martial is still injured. I think it'll be Greenwood. If Martial he'll be playing straight up. He'll be going straight up top.
You're going to have a home crowd effect anyway, which will give them...
What, Borchester? Have you ever been?
No, I haven't actually, thankfully.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, it's one of the worst grounds to go to for boring. Like, they don't...
Is it really?
Oh, yeah, they don't sing, they don't do nothing. You get the odd pocket, but it's right at the far end of where the away fans stand, and you can't hardly hear anything. It is
What's annoying?
boring.
That
What's
sounds a bit
annoying?
like the Emirates, doesn't it?
Oh well, I've been to the Emirates. I've stood on one side and I've stood on the other. I've stood on the clock end and I've stood on the North Bank, and I don't know where people get it from. To be honest with you,
What's annoying
sometimes.
though, Scunny, is you don't live in London, because normally what they say is they sing right at the end, "We'll race you back to London," because none of them come from Manchester.
No, no, that's what I mean. A lot of them are going to be tourists, as they say.
Listen,
But it is boring there. Even their own fans think it's boring. I've got a few that people I know up here who are avid Manchester United fans, and even they say they don't go to the stadium because it's boring. That's how bad it is.
You know what though? That is like, again, I've watched it on TV for the away game, and it always sounds like a really noisy cauldron. And you get somebody who goes there, like you've been. This is your second or third time to the
It'll
club.
be my third time.
Yeah, and you're saying there's no atmosphere in the ground. So,
No.
people have to talk about when they go to Highbury, go to the Emirates, and so on, and say the library. Bear in mind what you hear on TV compared to what happens in reality is two different things. So,
There
um,
was more. There was more chanting when we went to Huddersfield and Burnley than there were at Manchester, and that's
the
how
th-
bad it is.
the thing that we have to remind ourselves, and Melina does actually mention it as well, that they had to go all the way to penalties against Rochdale. Um, and they really, really struggled. West Ham, who I think are okay this season, I don't think they're a dreadful team this season. West Ham smashed them around the place last weekend.
Yeah, but it's like Dan was saying earlier. They're playing Arsenal and they turn up every time. We thought the last time I went to Old Trafford, I think we had Mavropanos in the back four. I think it was one of
He had a mare, didn't
during
he?
Wenger's last season. I think that was the last time I went. And we had Mavropanos in the back four. He got a red card, and everybody thought then we should have beat him, but we lost 2-1. So it's just one of them games that they always turn up every time. It's just typical. It is just typical. Everyone seems to want to turn up against Arsenal.
And we've only kept one clean sheet in the last 11 league games.
Surprised?
This is my worry. But is it not easy to get up for a game against Arsenal though, because of the way that we play out from the back, because of our lack of confidence
Oh,
in
yeah.
defence? Everybody
Exactly.
wants to have a go at us, don't they? Because they think all you got to do is push them around, be some physical, get in their faces, and we'll have a chance. And that is the brutal truth about it. I just wish that we could look at what Man United are doing, get together, and this massive mentality that Xhaka has apparently got in terms of his leadership. If he can get the players up for this game, then great. If he can't, then I wonder what he's doing with the armband. Because for me, everyone says, like we've just seen here, easy win, easy win. I wouldn't get too confident. I've done it before. I've said before, Man United are there for the taking. We'll have them. Absolutely. And we've come away feeling disappointed. Now, I say again, I'm not down in the dumps about it. I think that we will. I don't think we'll lose. But I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I actually don't think that I'm feeling as confident, just because I know how these games work, and I'm with Scunny, unfortunately. But I'm not travelling all the way up there. So
No,
I've
I
just been
think
proven wrong. It was Leicester. Sorry. Thank you, Richard, for
Richard
correcting
Butler
me.
has just said
Yeah.
Mavropanos.
I was going to say I couldn't remember Mavropanos getting sent
Yeah,
off. Yeah,
that's my fault. I got it wrong. Thank you, Richard, for making me feel stupid. Appreciate it.
He's quite good at it normally on his own, but
Yeah, I am, to be fair. Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah, we're all friends on here. Listen, I'm going for a final prediction. My prediction, I'm going to go, as I said, 3-2 for the Arsenal. Potsy, you went for
2-2.
Mike.
I went for a 2-1 loss. I feel ashamed, but you got to go with it sometimes.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Sorry, Joanne has just given a final message before we go to the close. Let's see what she says. The problem is we build up too slow and we're constantly attacking 11 men. We lose possession in the final third and get hit on the break. 3 passes and a shot on goal. It's very predictable. Actually, that's very true. And
Very true. Very true.
And it does open up. Will we change? We were gonna finish this a second ago, Joe. Now you started again. Do you see Do you see us addressing that problem then?
Well, I think the biggest one for me was the Watford game, because that was what I think Torreira had a shot, didn't he, in the box, and then all of a sudden 3 passes later, and it's in our penalty area, and Luis gives away a penalty, and you think, hang on a minute, 3 passes, how open are we there? That is just scary, and that is what you have with Granit Xhaka as an anchor in midfield, anchor Fergus, anchor, and he's for me, and
I
that's
know
the
what you
problem for
wanted
me.
to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know the problem there, and it is the midfield. I don't think that everyone goes on about our defence, right? I've said this before. Our defence is poor. I get that.
The defence
But
is an issue, but yeah, I
it's our
agree.
midfield though. Or just vacate the midfield. And
It's dreadful.
you talk about that Watford game, and you talk about Louise giving away the penalty. Louise makes a clumsy tackle. Yes, agreed. He thinks it's on the edge of the box. Yes, it's inside the box, and it was a penalty, 100%. But that was because there was no pressure whatsoever on him on the. On the Watford defence, so it just came on him, and he just made a last ditch tackle, which was dreadful. Does anybody not think Tierney will start
No,
or Holding?
No.
no.
Listen,
If they
I'd love
do-
to. I'd love to be
Yeah.
positive about it. There's a lot of players from Tuesday night that I think deserve to be knocking on the door. Joe Willock, Rob Holding, Kieran Tierney, Hector Bellerin, Callum Chambers, Martinelli, Saka. They all need to be knocking on the door 100%. I just don't have the confidence that Emery's going to pick them on Monday night. I really don't.
I feel the same. They definitely deserve to play without a shadow of a doubt, because the way we've been playing at the minute at the back, we should really be playing these guys who are coming back. But I'm the same as Dan. I just don't have the confidence that they will play. I think they'll just stick to the norm for this game because it's Man United, and instead of even taking a risk on them, it's ridiculous. It's stupid.
I'm just
Well,
hoping.
that's the way it is.
I'm just hoping that Emery has taken a very ballsy decision in having Granit Xhaka appointed as captain. And you mentioned all those youth players, including Nelson, Willock, Martinelli. Don't spit out that coffee.
Are you sure it's coffee?
Coffee or whatever it is. Yeah, but looking at those youth players, why isn't he ballsy and just goes for it? This is an opportunity once and once only at Old Trafford to go out and blood them and just go for it.
He's got a job to save. That's
No,
what
he
it
has.
is. That's what he's thinking. I'm sorry, Fergus, I'm going to interrupt you now for a change. He's got a job to save. He's got his own job to save. And the problem is, because he's thinking about his own job, he's not really thinking of the risk. He's thinking, oh, do I take a risk? Is it going to be too risky? Or do I just go for it? Or do I just stick with the norm and see how it goes and hope for the best it works and see it, and do it that way? Because at the end of this season, that's it. His 2 years are up. Whether he gets another contract, who knows?
That's what I was going to say. I was letting you finish before I interrupted because I do politeness like that,
Yeah, so, right, whatever.
But I was going to say his job is safe. There is no way that Arsenal Football Club are getting rid of Unai Emery until May. He has got a target of top 4 Champions League for next season. If he gets that, they'll consider, depending on all things weighed up, whether he gets the 1-year extension. If they get rid of him now, or before Christmas,
I'm not saying.
No. 1 second. If they get rid of him now, and we're not going into the Unai Emery things, but
no.
if they get rid of him now, they've got to pay him up for the remainder of this season and his other 1-year option. They've been sensible at the minute, money wise and clever. So he's comfortable. He's not worried about his job at all, Mike.
Well, he's got to go. He's got to have a summit for this season, hasn't he? He's not. I'm not saying he's going to get sacked tomorrow or whatever else. I'm thinking he's got his job to save at the end of May. He's got to be thinking that I've got to put out a team that he feels that he's going to save his job at the end of May to get him another season. Because you got to look at it this way. It's not going to be a great CV, is it? When he's got all these, players at Arsenal and stuff like that. He's got a very good chance of finishing top 4 this season. It's, and if he fails this time like he did last season, when we could have had top 4 last season, as well,
Scunny, like the fan base. Imagine if we lose this game tomorrow, what they're going to be like.
They're turning already.
Exactly, mate. And you look at what happens when we lose a game of football. If we lose to Manchester United, a team that we are supposed to be or should be finishing above this season to get top 4, the fans are going to turn, and I really don't want that. I've never been an Emery out. I've started to ask some questions, but we can't have us losing tomorrow night. We really can't.
I'll never be an Emery out. I'm not saying that I was going to do. I was never really a Wenger out. I was just more of the fact that yes, he should have gone when he should have done. But it's one of them things. The fan base is starting to turn already, and like Dan just pointed out, then if we lose to Man U tomorrow, then it's going to be some serious backlash.
Joe has just said he's on here again. She's just come along and put in the comments. She's not so sure on what I said about his job is safe till the end of the season. And she said simply getting top four. If it doesn't look certain by the end of January, he'll be gone. Financially, we can't afford another year out of the Champions League. You might have a point. I still think they won't do it until May. So
Yeah,
listen,
it's not in their interest to do anything till May.
No.
You got to think of the factors is they've got to find another manager. So and that's going to be something about it themselves. And if they have to pull a manager out from another club, then they've got to pay money to that other club for everything. You know what I mean? To pay him out of his contract at the other club to bring him across. So it's hard work. So it's not in their interest to pull him out till May.
It's an expensive task.
Yeah, exactly.
To end on a positive, we do have Aubameyang, who was 16 in 16. So let's be positive and let's hope that he can save us again.
Oh God,
Aubameyang. Fergus, you're still going with that. This has been 3 seasons now.
I'm trying.
And then 5 people have left you. You're on your own again.
Listen, boys, we have a lot to discuss. We will have our live podcast again on Wednesday night. If Dan is still with us, he sounds like he's dying. No,
I'm dying.
We're going to 8 p.m. It's slightly later than normal. About 8 p.m. on Wednesday night, the podcast. Who's joining us? Steve, you're in. Mike, you're in, and I think Johnny, isn't it? And we may have a couple of others. So do drop your questions into us on Twitter. We're on. Let me put it up here so you can see it. So on Twitter, we are on Guns and Ribbons on Twitter. On Facebook, you're on here now watching us, but we're on Facebook at gunsandyellowribbons.com. But also, please do follow us on YouTube. We don't have a load of followers on YouTube, but we are going to try and migrate this to be a YouTube thing going forward in after Christmas. So we would like you to join us on YouTube. So I do hope you have enjoyed the match preview of Manchester United versus Arsenal. I do hope I am correct and right as normal, and I am the positive one who's gone for a victory.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do. And I'll take some videos for the Facebook profile, and you can judge for yourselves how boring it is at Borchester United.
Please do. And we're on Instagram as well, if anybody does Instagram, but that's for the young kids. But we are going to have, actually, on that note, there is a young lad, I'm chatting to him at the minute. We're going to try and get some younger people involved in the Guns of the Yellow Ribbon things as well.
What are you saying? I'm old?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
I thought me and Scunny were youngsters. I didn't realise this.
Yeah,
I'm not the youngest out of us all.
This is all dye, by the way. This is not real grey.
Yeah. all right. Yeah.
Listen, you have been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Really, really thank you for joining us, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks very much. Good night.
Up the arse.